All right, calling to order the Baker County Land Planning Agency meeting for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. If you would, please join us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, Father God, just so humble, Father, to be able to be here, to live in the USA. Father, we pray for the men and women overseas, Father God, that are fighting for our freedom. Father, we thank you for the county that we live in. Father, we pray that you just direct us and guide us, give us the strength that we need to walk day by day. That's all we say in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. You can be seated. All right, I've already talked about public comments. Again, just a reminder, if you have anything to say, we've got speaker cards in the back. Fill those out, give that to Miss Julie, and then come on up and chat. First item of first order of business is the approval of the minutes from January 8th. I've got some comments, but I'll let you guys go first.
I've got none.
Okay, so my comments are on page 1. On the approval of minutes, Jared Lee comments that he is sustaining. It should be abstaining. Julie, I'll give you a copy of these from the vote. And next was on the new business, small scale land use ordinance 2025-37. I had requested a conversation with the county commissioners. We heard anything back on that? Okay. And there was another, okay, on page 4, subdivision development preliminary and final review for B&N Farms. The second to the last paragraph, it says, Chairman Shepard asked for comments from the board and the public. Jared Lee comments that this is near Rainier project. Rainier is misspelled. Okay, it's R-A-Y versus R-E-Y. And those are the only changes I had. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board with those changes?
Motion approved with changes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Could you pass that down, Julie? All right, thank you. Good evening, Madam Director.
All right. So the first two items that I have for you this evening are companion items. So if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I will present them together.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first two items we have, they are for ordinance number 2026-01, a small-scale land use amendment with a request of agriculture B to very low-density residential. And the companion is ordinance number 2026-02, a rezoning request from agriculture 10 to residential conventional mobile home 2.5. So this application comes to you on behalf of Mr. Kelvin Cruz, who is the owner of Nutty Buddy LLC, who owns the property. So this property is off of Gaskin Circle. It is 5 acres. It is 2 parcels together to create that 5 acres. So what you're looking at is this square here, as well as this square here. So they are 2.5 acre parcels for taxing purposes to create the 5 acres total. So that's why you see two parcel numbers there as well. So they currently have a land use of agriculture B and a current zoning of Ag 10. So this property, these 2 parcels would be considered non-conforming because at 2.5 acres each, they do not meet that 10-acre requirement for this area. The applicant's intent would be to bring the parcels into compliance and then place a mobile home onto each lot. So you'll see here, 3 sides have a land use of Ag B with a medium density residential just north of these parcels. And then you'll see 3 sides has an Ag 10, which while there is an Ag 10 zoning there, those are not 10-acre parcels, or not all 10-acre parcels. And then you'll see there's kind of a mix around here of RCMH 2.5, RCMH 1, and RCMH 0.5. So the parcels, again, are currently non-conforming. While the addresses associated with the property, they reflect a Hill Lane address, that is not where these parcels have recorded access. The recorded easement, so you can see the recorded easement from the survey. It was very hard to tell, so I kind of tried to mark out where those lines actually are. So here are the 2 lots. Here is Gaskin Circle up here. Okay, so Hill Lane comes through here, and then here are the 2.5-acre tracts. The easement comes here, comes all the way down, back over, and then back this way. So where this blue line is, that's actually what you see on the survey here. So to kind of give you a visual of where the recorded access is. Hill Lane is a private drive that belongs to the property owners there. So I just wanted to address that yes, they do have Hill Lane addresses, but that isn't the recorded access. We sent this out for development review comments, and per Chief Nelson, he did have some issues with access and a need for the road to be improved in order to support the weight of a fire apparatus, and that it would need to be, those issues would need to be addressed with the proper engineering. With that, staff does recommend approval. In this sort of situation, that road improvement would have to be done prior to any building permits being issued. So with that, the property owners are here. If you have questions for them, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to answer, or if you have questions for me.
So you've already discussed the property access and with the applicant?
Yes, and the property owners knew that that's where their access sat. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just didn't want them to hear it the first time right now, that's all.
Yes, sir.
I figured you're on top of things. Questions from the board?
No questions.
Not currently.
No
Yeah.
questions.
Would the applicant like to speak?
I mean,
Yeah.
if you have questions for
I have no
them,
questions
but-
for you.
No.
Vote on that?
Okay. Anybody from the public have any comments?
Yes,
Okay.
I have questions.
Yes, ma'am. If you'd come up and state your name and address, and then just fill out a speaker card and you can give it to Ms. Julie. Thank you, dear.
Good evening. My name is Felicia Chestnut, and I reside at 8850 LD Chestnut Lane. And I have questions. I know you stated that the owner's plans were to put one mobile home on those properties. I have questions. Are those going to be the only mobile homes there? And what is the future plan for this area? That's my question.
So
Ma'am.
with this zoning, it would only allow for them to place one mobile home on each of those 2.5-acre tracts. So for that the entire 5 acres, there would only be 2 mobile homes placed. That's all that this zoning would only allow to.
So it can't be rezoned in the future for more mobile homes?
If that was the case, they would have to go back through this entire process again, and everybody would be notified again. That could not happen without notification.
Thoughts?
That's my question.
Yeah. So again, to restate what LaDonna was saying, so if we approve this zoning tonight, we combine these two, then they're asking for RCMH 2.5. So that's residential, conventional, stick-built, or a mobile home. They can only put 1 per each 2.5 acres. And if they want to do anything else, then they're gonna have to come back, refile for an application, split the land again, or whatever their conversation is, to put more than 1 mobile home on each 2.5 acres.
Yeah, they would only be allowed to add 2 structures. Anything more than that, the whole process would have to be done again, and notifications would be sent out. Yep.
Sir, anything you want to add to that? Okay. Any questions from?
I think she wants.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even see it, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Marva Williams, and I live at 14280 Gaston. This property, as I understand it, is right behind my house, correct?
Yes, it is. It is. You are. I'm not sure which side of Hill Lane you're on, but you are one of these two. When you turn onto Hill Lane, are you on the right or the left?
Coming in from,
She's on the right, on the screen, she's on the
Yeah,
right.
on the right.
Okay.
Right,
Here?
Right there.
no, she's
Beside
over
that.
one, right there.
Here?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
that's why I'm asking, because I don't know how to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Show me
ma'am.
one more
So
time.
that's you right here.
Okay, and on the opposite side, do you show 2 mobile homes?
There looks like there's one there and one there.
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you
Yes,
all.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Even though I'm looking at it, I still don't know.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just, okay. I didn't know we could speak tonight because it says here, public comments the next time. So I appreciate you all allowing me to
Yeah,
speak.
absolutely. Thank you
Okay.
for coming in.
I'm very interested in it because it's right behind my house. And I live off of Hill Lane. And we allow these 2 mobile homes, the occupants there, to come in because they're right there with us.
Right.
And I didn't know, which it sounded like the property behind us, Mr. Cruz's property, or you are representing somebody? Is that you, or you represent the company? You are LOL? You are another body?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Hill Lane, I thought stopped right behind me. It don't go behind
Yes,
us
ma'am.
where they are. It just said the wrong address.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
That's why I wanted to note that these parcels do have Hill Lane addresses, but that is not where their access lies.
And their address will remain Hill Lane, even though it's not Hill Lane?
So that is going to be a question for the people who issue addresses. So that's something that's done through a different department, so we're gonna have to ask them that question. But that does not change where the access lies. That does not change where that easement is.
Okay. So is these 2 mobile homes going to be rental or somebody's purchasing that property? Okay. So somebody's purchasing that property behind me. It won't be somebody renting, coming in there. That's what he's saying, right? So is that how this is set up? Okay. Okay. So the 2 mobile homes that's coming behind me, they're gonna be sold to somebody else will own that property, and the name's gonna change from,
And just so we have it on the record, so What we're saying is that those two 2.5 acre parcels, there's only one dwelling per facility, and the applicant said he is not doing this as rental. He's doing this as a sale for somebody to buy it and then either move a mobile home on there or build a home.
Okay, so
Okay.
they can,
The only way I'm gonna sell it is with a mobile home.
He,
Okay.
he's gonna place the
I
mobile home
don't rent
first.
property and I quit all that years ago.
and all this is going on record, that there's not gonna be rental behind me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But to be clear, the man can change his mind tomorrow, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct.
He can-
Just,
So,
just to be clear, he can sit here and say, he can have a dream tomorrow night, and he could say, you know what? I want to rent these things out, and there's
So do
nothing
we
we can
have-
do about it.
So do we have to come back here again?
No, ma'am.
Because it's not,
no, that
We're here discussing a zoning and a land use change. What the landowner decides to do with his property, we have no control over. We're here only discussing whether this zoning should apply to this parcel of land.
So it's a private property.
And he could sell that property and the next property owner could rent it down the road. That's something we can't control.
so what are we doing here? I
To-
mean,
What we're doing is, the way the property is zoned right now, it is zoned, Ag 10, which means you can have one dwelling for every 10 acres.
okay,
So the request is to change that from Ag 10 to RCMH 2.5, which allows one dwelling for every 2.5 acres. And that would allow him to put one dwelling on each 2.5 acre piece.
okay.
So for 2 dwellings total for the 5 acres. So that is the only change that's being asked, is that density change from 1 per 10 to 1 per 2.5.
Okay. I got it. Thank you. I do have another question. So
ma'am.
how, whether he have rentals back there or he sells it, you just explained that to me. What we just heard a few minutes ago.
Yes, so his intent, the applicant's intent, is to put a mobile home on there and sell it. He said he's not in the rental business. But again, like Gabe said and he said, you know, if he sells that piece of property, say it's vacant, somebody else just buys it and they put a mobile home on that, it's within their rights as private property that they could rent that mobile home out. His intent is not to do that, but like Gabe said, if he decides 3 months from now that he wants some rental income, he can move a trailer on there because he's still complying with the zoning if we approve it tonight. One dwelling per 2.5 acres. And then how he does that, if he sells it or decides to lease it out or rent it out, then that's on him because it's his property. And that's where you guys would have to have a conversation. And I understand, you know, sometimes we don't want bad neighbors. We want somebody that's going to be taking care of their stuff. But, you know, there's nothing statutorily that we as a government, you know, as Baker County, can say you can only do this on your property. We can tell you things that you can't do, like you can't put 2 homes on there, but we can't tell you what to do with it. Okay, just like if they came into your place and if you wanted to put a barn on there, a pole barn, you'd have to come in and get a permit unless it's ag zoning, then they're gonna say, okay, well, it's agricultural, you don't need a permit. But if you're gonna use it for something commercial, then you'd have to come in, pull a permit, and then get the zoning approved and everything else. Okay, so it's a balancing act. It's trying to make sure that we're good neighbors with everyone, but also respecting private property rights, individual property rights, and the government not telling you what to do with your land. Okay, does that help?
Yes, it does.
I know it's a lot. It can be very confusing if you don't look at it every day. It's a little mind-boggling.
Yeah, I never would have thought they could change their mind and they walk out the door
Yeah.
and agree
Well,
with them.
and he may not, but an investor could buy it, and an investor could buy the mobile home and want to rent it out, you know?
And what kind of assets do they have to get back there?
as LaDonna was saying, you want to go through that again, LaDonna?
Yes. So, one page over. Okay, so if you look at the property, it is this little square here and this one here. This is where Hill Lane comes. You're up here. So the recorded access is where this blue line is. And it brings them back up to Gaston Circle up here. That's where the recorded easement is that's on their survey here. It comes here. So the blue line is their legally recorded access.
And what's the blue line again?
That is the way that they are supposed to access the property.
And the blue line is,
The access that's recorded.
right.
This blue line is the access that's recorded.
Is that the railroad coming up there?
It's down.
Oh, yeah.
Goes out, comes around. It just makes it sharper.
Yeah.
But there's not a road there right now.
There's,
I just,
Well-
I use yours because me and Buddy have always been friends and I try to keep it clean. And, you notice I'm the only one that's back here that's vacant. But Kendrick, I don't know if you know, they call him Jack.
Sir, can you come up to the mic?
What started this was Jack works for my daughter, and I own a company. And I quit renting 25 years ago. All the mobile homes in Sanderson on the right, there's 4. I never rented them, I sold them. My help used to stay in them, and then I quit all that. But he wants to buy one of those lots. He's a good man, he lives at Margaretta, and that's what started this. And I've always been able to come in and out of Hill Lane, and then the 2 lots become addressed by Hill Lane, and I didn't ever think nothing about the easement until just now. And that's where I'm at. But as far as if I continue with what I'm doing, I'll put 2 mobile homes on it, and I'll sell them. And what those people do with them is their business, but they can't do nothing with them, to answer your question, unless they, like these guys said, come back down here and go back through all of this. And the way they're gonna be placed on it, they'd have to move mobile homes in order to put something. It won't be like Hill Lane is now. I know what you're talking about. They just stacked in there, and they encroaching on mine. I'm trying to get them off of it without causing any issues with anybody, because I've been there for over 20 years, and I've never lost nothing there. And I don't want to cause any type of issues with kids are going to be kids, and girls are going to be girls, and they go back there and they play. I don't care. That's them and whatever they want to do. You never have heard anything out of me about it, whatsoever. I try to be a good neighbor there, and it's just the way I've operated. So that's where I'm coming from as far as what my intent is. Am I going to do it tomorrow? No. I'm just going through the process, and that's what you have to do.
But then also with the application, the fire department said that the road needed to be improved. So down the road, so does he come this long way around, or does he come there off of Hill Lane? Whatever the road department and him come up with, then they're just making sure that that roadway will support a big fire truck coming through there as well.
It's talking about Hill Lane?
Well, Hill Lane will support a fire truck, because I fixed that back years ago with rock. But the way I actually go out of there is go around behind mine, go out and turn right and come back out by the Lewis's on the corner down there. That's access. But my cousin owns all that now, and that's where the wedding venue is. So there won't be a lot of traffic in and out of there unless these other people that's on there, they start doing the same thing I'm doing. And Mike Crawford owns all the lots by me, which is trying to buy right away out there from the Chestnuts. And I went as far as Miami because I know Chestnut, of course, Concrete, and I know him real well. And the sister that lived in Miami is the one I had to get. I never could make contact with her. So I did try. It's hard to find people when they're not living in the county.
taking up too much time.
No, ma'am, ask your questions. This is what the
When
forum's
I
for.
leave here, I don't want to have to come back. You know? And y'all probably don't want me to come back.
No, no,
But,
no. I encourage public participation, yes.
Thank you, Randy. I know Randy too, but we did agree for Randy to come through. He asked, because that road is our road, and the other two people that's there, they made the road. We didn't make the road, and we're trying to keep this from happening again. They just made them a road, they right here, but they just made the road on our side. And being the good neighbors we are, we allowed them to come. And then when he started doing this, digging holes back there,
Yeah.
it was tearing up the road. And so he did. He came and put some rocks there, and it held out for them.
Well, that's
But
good that worked out that way.
that worked out. But every time somebody go back there doing things like that, it just throws dust over here, and dust seeps in your house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all know that or not. You probably don't live on dirt roads. But it just seeps in your house all through the day when people just in and out. So that is not what we want. We let the neighbors stay there. But when the end of them, that's where we want it to stop at. We don't want whoever buying the property to just make it a road, because all their friends and families
Right.
coming back there.
Well, and whoever does buy that property is going to have to address the issues that were raised by the fire department.
Okay.
They're gonna have to come back before the fire department, because they're gonna say, this is the standard that we need the road built to, and then they're gonna go and look at everybody's property boundaries and lines and say, okay, what are the easements and everything else? Because we've got a ton of private roads out in the county here, and then we've got a lot of county maintained roads as well, paved and dirt road. And yeah, I totally understand what you're saying about the dirt roads. I just live a little further north of that.
And so it's okay if we go ahead and block it off, where nobody can come on back to rent your property back there, because there have been parties back there, lots of cars back there, and this behind our house with lights on.
That's outside of the scope for us.
Well-
That's something that, no, I'm just saying, it's private property, we're not law enforcement, we can't tell you to block that road up.
That would be something to maybe talk to the road department about. They would be able to provide better information than we could. We wouldn't want to misadvise you in any way.
Right. So we're just here to talk about, because the land is currently zoned Ag 10, meaning one dwelling per 10 acres. There's only 5 acres there. He wants to put one dwelling per 2.5 acres, so changing it from Ag 10 to RCMH 2.5.
Okay.
Okay? That's what our role is here tonight.
Are we good, Randy?
Yes, ma'am.
No questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Okay, any other questions from the public? Comments from the board? What's the pleasure of the board? Ordinance number 2026-01?
I've got some questions.
Yes, ma'am. Or, pardon me. Yes, sir. Sorry about
No offense
that.
taken.
Yeah, the bearded lady.
I have a concern about, I mean, that property that would access these two lots is owned by Rayonier. And unless this route is fenced off entirely to get to these two parcels, I have a hard time believing that Rayonier's going to just let the public have access on their property.
So it is a recorded easement. It is a recorded,
Is it currently accessible? Or is there a gate at the Rayonier property?
to my knowledge, there is not.
Okay.
It has been used for access, by the property owner. He, like they said briefly, he had spoken with the people along Hill Lane to use that as a shorter route. But this other route has been used as well.
But what's your concern with Rainier? Because like my property, I had to get an easement from Champion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this predates Rayonier. I think the easement predates them.
Other questions?
But the easement predates them. It's still their property, correct?
It is. It's owned by Rayonier now.
Right.
Yes. But when Rayonier purchased the property, there was already an existing easement.
What kind of improvements need to happen to the road?
So there would be options there. It would have to be improved so that an engineer could test it and say that it meets
Excuse
the
me.
requirements. Essentially that it can support emergency vehicles of 60,000 pounds or more.
Okay.
So it does not have to be paved, and that improvement we've seen in the past can come in different ways.
Sure.
How they choose to do that, that's up to them as long as it meets the standard and the testing
Now, they
says
have an
that it
easement.
meets. Mhm.
Do you have that easement? What
Um,
language is in the easement? Is the property owner of the road going to allow them to make those improvements? Because just because they have an easement, it's on someone
Right.
else's property. And that property owner can choose whether or not they allow improvements to happen and what improvements go on that road, correct?
Yes, yes.
Agreed.
And that would be, that could potentially be a conversation with them and Rayonier. If Rayonier will allow them, do you have that survey?
Just wondering what language accompanies the easement document. And then I know these stipulations need to be met before a building permit is issued. Is there any way that a mobile home can be placed on the land without a building?
And until
Permit.
that requirement is satisfied,
Right.
as long as that's a requirement, until that's been satisfied, we would not issue building permits. And that would be, placement of a mobile home would be a move-on permit. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's time.
So to answer your question, it is an easement for ingress and egress. Make sure it does not add anything. It is only ingress and egress.
Which is typical.
It is pretty, sometimes we'll see, sometimes we will see some maintenance verbiage in there, but it's not often, but I did want to make sure.
I'm just concerned with the path. I think the nature of the zoning is, in my opinion, okay. The location is fine. So I don't really just have a challenge with emergency vehicles finding the proper way to get to those structures should they need
Right.
to.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, if someone purchases this home, and Ms. Williams is entitled to put a perimeter fencing around her property if she so chooses to.
Mhm.
How would these kids catch the bus?
That is absolutely a legitimate question.
But right now, we're speculating.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, very legitimate question. Absolutely. Public safety, and then, kids, how do they get to and from and be safe as well? But we're just here to talk about the zoning. And I'm not disregarding what you're saying, but there's nothing that we can do about that, what the future may be.
Right.
Not
And-
something that Randy and, others can talk about.
And
say,
that's us typically for typically for land use and zoning changes, we are checking to ensure that there is legal access. And that is a good question. In situations like this, there is legal access, so it does meet that requirement. But that is still a very valid question. Unfortunately, not one that I can answer.
Just ensuring
but I
that
do
future residents of Baker County,
Yep. I
again,
do,
know
I
what they're getting
understand.
into, you
Yep.
know, reoccurring theme here.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the board? Anything else, Gabe?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir, come on up.
Just to answer Gabe's question, I got enough sense, I wouldn't buy a piece of property without access. Where I live at is on a multi-million-dollar piece of property, and I bought the access before he was born, and he's 40. And I bought it from Rainier. When it says egress and ingress, and they loan you the money, it's solid as a rock. That easement's solid as a rock. You got hundreds of lots gonna come out of there in town, and they're gonna come out that easement. That easement is a graded, maintained easement. It ain't graded every month or every 6 months, but it's a nice road out of there. And that's just.
Who's it maintained by?
Sir?
Who's it maintained by?
They just, I don't know, I ain't never maintained it. Dwight Jones is who I bought the property from. And Mike Crawford and Lamar Fish and Darrell Cruz and James Cruz, we all own that in there together. And that's gonna be the access, that's the only access out of there. Because we've tried to buy access out of there from Rabbit, which will come straight out on 229, if you know where Rabbit Load is
Yep.
at. Like I said about the chestnuts, because all I care about is my right of way.
Sure.
I don't care about, just like the lady that just left. That's Vidal's wife. I know her. I went to school with her. She didn't quite understand it. I should have went and talked to her, but I talked to him some years ago, and I was the onlyest one that could come out Hill Lane there. They wouldn't let nobody else, no dump trucks, no nothing. When I go into Hill Lane, I'm it. There would only be 2 vehicles going into that property, the one that owns the right and one that owns the left, if it happens. Because going out the other way, you're gonna go to the wedding venue. I mean, there's a multi-million-dollar building in there. They got access in and out of there. I mean, there's a road, a complete rock road all the way around that property.
Right.
I mean, it's nice in there, but my particular lots just happen to face directly in front of Hill Lane, and I had the accessibility to use that most of my adult life, and I've never had an issue there. That's why, as far as that goes, but as far as getting out of there the legal way and then catching the school bus, yeah, they're gonna have to walk several hundred yards, but there's a legal way in and out of there. I mean, this is as legal as paper can put it.
Yeah, I just, again, based off of what's being presented,
Yeah.
is the questions I'm asking.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
wouldn't, there's no way I'd spend that kind of money and go in there and do that unless I had, a legal access in and out.
I'm not debating the fact. I mean, it's clear that
probably
you
won't
have
ever use
legal
it.
access in and out, but as far as emergency vehicles, finding the residents, if someone is inside the residence dying, how will the rescue find the residents?
How do they find the wedding venue?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
but-
here to talk about the wedding venue. I don't know the 911 address of the wedding venue.
It's
I have no
on the other
idea.
side of the-
All right.
I'm simply just asking questions to ensure that it's discussed and thought about. That's all. So that I sit in this seat and feel like I've done a good job of sitting in the seat. That's all.
I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, all I can do is, or Miss Donna can present what we got, and that's what we got, and that's
Yep.
the access to it.
Yeah.
And all the ones that's gonna use the same access I'm using, that owns any of that property.
Well, and then, the stipulation from Trevor was also to make sure that the road will sustain a fire apparatus. But with that, there'll probably, whoever issues, whenever the building permit is requested, they're gonna request a 911 address. So that'll probably cover that aspect of it.
And I'm simply asking because there's
No,
no named
absolutely.
road there. So how will someone find someone who is dying at that location? That's all I want to know.
Yep.
And if no one can give me that answer, then just say I don't know.
I think that's the answer right now. There is an easement. We're talking about the zoning to go from Ag 5, or Ag 10 to 2.5. Your point about school children access and emergency access. Emergency access has been addressed. School bus, that's something that's gonna have to be worked out, or school children catching the bus. Any other comments?
And there may be a simple answer to that, but it's not one that I can answer. I will say that the school board is on our development review committee, and for all of these applications, we send an email to a member, the school board person that we are told to send it to, and I'll tell you, it's very rare that we get a response.
That's right.
But we do send every application to where we are told to send it to, so.
Right. Okay. Good points, Gabe, thanks. All right, gentlemen, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve ordinance number 2026-01, small scale land use amendment.
So we've got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 2026-01, small scale land use amendment from Ag B to very low density residential, from Ag 10 to RCMH 2.5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Companion rezoning, ordinance number 2026-02, change from Ag 10 to RCMH 2.5. All in favor? Oh, well, do we have a motion? Sorry.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 2026-02, rezoning from Ag 10 to RCMH residential conventional mobile home 2.5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. And I would also ask that, LaDonna just said, we've got it recorded, that there will not be any building permits authorized until the roadway stipulations are taken care of.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the next.
All right, so the next application we have is for ordinance number 2026-03. It is a rezoning request of agriculture 7.5 to agriculture 5. So this parcel is owned by Mr. Stephen Parker. It is actually two parcels together. So what we are looking at is this entire square here. Mr. Parker's homestead property is on this 1 acre piece here, and it is a family lot from some very long time ago. But we are looking at the entire 10 acres here. So the 1 acre family lot that he was given, as well as the 9 acres along here. So I'm getting ahead of myself, I apologize. So this parcel is located off of Cleet Harvey Road. Again, 10 acres with a land use of Ag B and a zoning of Ag 7.5. The property is comprised of two parcels, a 9 acre parcel and a 1 acre parcel. The family is working on some estate planning right now, and it is their intention to split the 10 acres evenly between two children. So that would be between Mr. Parker and his sibling. So Mr. Parker would keep the 5 acres on the side of the property that has his home that he currently lives in, and then the remaining 5 acres would be deeded to a sibling. So you'll see most everything in this area. You see there's one little square of purple up there, but most everything in this area is Ag B and a zoning of Ag 7.5. Most of the parcels around here meet that 7.5 acre zoning. If they do not meet it, it is generally some sort of family lot or property that's been subdivided by the family in some way. So you do see the FEMA flood zone here. It is not on this parcel, but it was kind of close, so I did want to just show that it does stop close to this parcel. So what you'll see here is how the parcel would be split. So this is that 1 acre piece where Mr. Parker's homestead property is. And then this would be the additional 4 acres that he would get. And this would be the 5 acres that is given to the sibling. At this moment, it does not qualify for a family lot process because right now it is not the 9 acre piece that could give a family lot, is not the homestead property of anyone. So that is one of the requirements of that family lot, is for it to be the homestead property of whoever is gifting that family lot. And it does not meet that right now. So other than that, we would consider the parcel compliant, even the family lot, because it did have an approved family lot process. And the intention, it would be split equally between the two to create 2 5 acre pieces. And then any additional subdivision of the lands in any way would require an additional process. You know, if one of them decided to subdivide and sell later, they would have to go through a subdivision process for that. So staff recommends approval. If you have any questions.
Mine's gonna go back to access again, so,
Both of these have road frontage along Cleet Harvey.
okay.
Yep, so.
I was trying to look at that eye chart you got there, I couldn't.
Yeah, so.
See the road.
Like if you look at this one here, this is Cleet Harvey Road here.
Okay,
And
got
they're
it.
going to be split this way. So both of them both 5 acre tracts have direct access to Cleet Harvey.
Okay. Questions from the board?
No questions.
Good. Anybody from the public have any questions, comments? Seeing none? All right, what's the pleasure of the board? Ordinance number 2026-03, rezoning from Ag 7.5 to Ag 5.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a question.
Yep, go ahead, Gabe.
Is this not spot zoning, LaDonna? I
So
don't see any of this same zoning
we,
anywhere near this area.
right, and this is something we've talked before about the Ag 5 zoning and it potentially being spot zoning. Unfortunately, there are just very few Ag 5 zonings.
Okay.
So I would almost argue that almost anywhere we would put Ag 5 would be considered spot zoning, just
Yeah.
because it is only a couple of years old, and its intention was kind of to be the transition between that RCMH 2.5 and that Ag
Right.
7.5.
Okay.
But
That was a
on
discussion.
the surface, yes, there's not any other Ag 5 in this area.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to look at the other parcel sizes just to get an idea, you know, what I mean, because a lot of times you'll have that where you have a lot of non-conforming lots just because they're older, you know,
Right.
where that zoning fits the area because most of the lots are that size around the parcel.
And I will say, immediately surrounding this, there,
It's all
generally
over the place.
speaking, there's mostly conforming lots, but there are several pieces that were family lots that would not meet current standard.
Yeah.
And like you just said, if they don't meet that, they are a family lot generally, or an older lot that existed prior to.
How far did mailers go out? Because this is a relatively rural area, I know you do it by feet.
So we start with 300 feet.
Yeah.
But
I don't
we
think that
have
gets
a
many
notice, we have a
residences.
notice minimum.
Okay.
So we send out, if we go 300 feet and we do not get at least 10 notices,
Yeah.
we go out to 500 feet.
Okay.
So 10 to 15 notices is our minimum.
Okay.
This was 500 feet.
We did go 500 feet in this one, yeah.
To get 10 notices?
Yes.
How many did we get?
Okay.
Just a second.
And
So-
no,
so
no
most-
responses?
I have not had any questions or any phone calls about this one at all. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Exactly 10.
Exactly 10, yeah.
Perfect.
So when we did that 300, it was most likely under, so.
Very good.
Okay, any comments from the public?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, sir, thank you. All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Do you have a motion in a second already?
I lost track, I was listening.
I apologize.
You know, we get things moving and then Gabe's like, oh, got a question. I'm like, okay, man. All right, but next time I'll just call for discussion.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. That way we're covered. All right, what's the pleasure of the board? All in favor of ordinance number 2026-03, rezoning from Ag 7.5 to Ag 5? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, ma'am?
So the next two applications I have are companion, so if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I will present them together.
Yes, please.
All right. So this that we have is for ordinance number 2026-04, a small-scale land use amendment with a request of Agriculture B to very low-density residential. The companion ordinance is number 2026-05, a rezoning with a request of Agriculture 7.5 to residential conventional mobile home 2.5. So this parcel is located off of 23C, County Road 23C. So if you look here, this is the intersection of State Road 21, or 121, I'm sorry, and this is 23C, all tongue-tied tonight. And this is the subject parcel. So, like we discussed just a moment ago, this lot itself it's an older lot. It was created prior to our current standards. So that is why you see a 5-acre lot that is zoned Ag 7.5 that has a structure on it. We would consider it legally non-conforming, so it would be buildable until that parcel was changed or altered in any way. So in this instance, the applicant wants to bring the parcel into compliance with current standards, as well as prepare for the creation of a 2.5-acre family lot for their child. So because it is their intention to create a 2.5-acre family lot, that is why the request is RCMH 2.5 and not any sort of lower density. So when you look at the land use and zoning maps here, you'll see on one side there is already some very low density residential. And then on north and south you have Ag B, and then if you look at the zoning you have some RC1 to one side, Ag 7.5 to the north and south, and then there is some RCMH1 as well as some RC1. So while you do not see any RCMH 2.5 in this immediate area, it was not the intent of the property owner to add any additional density other than what they were looking for their use. So that is the reason behind the RCMH 2.5 request. So you can see here, this entire square is the 5-acre tract. This is the parent's home here. This is the 2.5-acre portion that they intend to keep This would be the 2.5 acre portion that was given to the child, and there is a recorded, well, it is not a recorded easement as of yet, but the surveyor has prepared an easement along this side of the property so that if approved, when they went through the family lot process and recorded a deed, they already have an easement for access to go along with that deed. So again, the parcel, while now is legally non-conforming, it was created prior to our current standards. The proposed change would only allow for 2.5 acre parcels to be created. Any additional process would require either a subdivision process or additional land use and zoning changes. So with that, staff does recommend approval, but I am open for questions.
Comments from the board? No? Any comments from the public? Gabe, any questions?
They're gonna maintain the same driveway.
Yes, yes. It would just be extended.
Does that easement reflect that? Because if that easement's hugging the right side of the property, I don't know that it encompasses that driveway. In just a minute.
One moment, sir.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So their driveway may be outside of that. So that would be a question for the property owners. We did not discuss whether they would use the same driveway or not. I thought you meant just for if they intended to maintain that easement as a driveway for the back lot. I misunderstood.
Okay.
What other questions?
But you are right. Looking at it, I think that driveway would, without being out there with a tape measure, it does look like it would be outside of that easement.
Sir, you wanted to say something? Come on up.
I don't have anything unless y'all specifically have a question to me about it. But
No, I just seen
I
you
do.
standing.
So
Okay, yeah,
do
please
you
come forward.
intend
Gabe's got a
to-
question for you.
Do you guys keep using the same driveway?
That is the plan.
Okay.
Yes. My name is Raymond Bailey.
Mr. Raymond, thank you for coming up. With the family lot, you're gonna maintain, everyone's gonna use that same driveway access to get to the front parcel and the back parcel?
That's the plan. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
But we felt like we needed to make the easement that they have a legal easement to that property back there. So we felt like we needed to have the surveyor put that in there.
And that's good forward thinking.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be my only concern is just in the future, having two driveways right there back to back. So I think that other than that, I mean, it doesn't. The zoning is fine, in my opinion.
Anyone else have any questions?
No questions.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, sir.
Does anyone else have any comments? Okay. What's
If
yes,
I
ma'am.
may,
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
So that would be something before we issue that family lot, we could look at that easement and make sure that it's gonna sit where that driveway is. Because if it doesn't meet the footage requirements, the road department would not issue a second driveway permit for that. So we can make sure that we look at that, and if it's gonna require two driveways, we make sure we meet those footages and,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. Come on.
So, like I said, the plan is we share the same driveway. It's my
Yes, sir.
daughter and her husband, and that's the plan. I guess my question to y'all then is the concern that there would end up being two driveways? Is that what the concern is?
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't have the separation that's required by code to put a second driveway in that close to your current one?
We have no interest in a second driveway. I don't have any issue if y'all put a stipulation, excuse me, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine.
I had no issue if
Sure.
there's a stipulation that we maintain the same driveway, that does not bother us.
Okay, and I think that's what Miss LaDonna was
Yes.
hinting at, that, you know, as this thing walks forward, we may have to adjust that, get you guys to adjust that easement to line up with your current driveway.
Okay,
Yep, that way the
not change the
easement,
driveway, but
not change the
easement.
driveway, but change the
Right.
Just so
easement.
It's a lot easier to
recorded
change the
properly.
line on a paper.
Yes, absolutely.
Ain't cheap?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So we wouldn't put that sort of condition on this. That's just something, when we get to that part of the process, we may have to shift the road access
No problem.
to move a little bit.
I'll have a heart attack.
Yep. And that way everybody's covered. And then by you guys taking the extra step and going forward, there's a legal easement on that. So 20, 30, 40 years down the road, just like you seen the application we were talking earlier about Gaskin Circle, there's already a recorded easement on that property for access to the back end piece of it.
Understand.
Just trying to be proactive. Okay, thank you. Any other comments, sir?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Back to the board. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2026-04, small-scale land use amendment from Ag B to very low-density residential. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
Motion to approve 2026-05 rezoning Ag 75 to RCMH 2.5.
man, I'm not going fast enough for you.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded for a vote on ordinance number 2026-05, rezoning from Ag 75 to RCMH 2.5. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? What gave you ready to take this share over? Motion carries. All right, thank you.
I just wanted to say, just so that all the applicants know, if your application has already been heard, you don't have to stay for the entirety of the meeting. So I just didn't want you guys to feel that we were holding you hostage or anything.
However, there was an ad in the paper for positions up here on this
There
board.
was.
If you'd like to
So
join.
if you're interested,
Stick around
yeah,
just to see how
for
things
informational
work,
purposes, or you
By
want to
all
join the
means,
board.
feel free to stay.
That's right.
I just did not want
Little plug
anybody
there
to
for you.
feel like we were keeping them here.
That's right.
All right, so this last application I have for you, we're going to change gears a little bit outside of our land use and zonings. There we go. So this last application I have for you is a subdivision development. We have been hearing them together, a preliminary and final review at the same time. Generally, that seems to just be the smoothest route. So this property is located off of Carl Brown Road South. It's owned by Mr. Reed Tillis. It is on the corner of Carl Brown Road and Seminole Lane. So the property in its entirety is 71.92 acres, has a current land use of agriculture B and a current zoning of agriculture 7.5. So this parcel is made up of 2 lots within the Lon Rollerson subdivision. So the Lon Rollerson subdivision was approved by the board back in 2003. However, it was not platted. So they never went through the subdivision process, but they did not go through the platting process. If they would have, you would be looking at a replat application instead of a subdivision application. So when we have areas like this, which we have a couple of subdivisions that went through the process and were approved but never platted, we look at those as unrecorded subdivisions, meaning they were approved, but that plat was not recorded. That's where the term unrecorded subdivision comes from. So the applicant intends to subdivide a portion of one of these lots and record a 3-lot platted subdivision. It is not his intention to develop those lots. So you'll see here, we're not requesting any sort of land use and zoning change. Most everything in this area has a Ag B land use. Most everything in this area has an Ag 7.5 zoning. You can see a couple of spots of purple there where someone has previously went through a process to have a RCMH 2.5 zoning. I have the flood map there too. You will see just depending on if you're looking from the right direction, there's potentially a tiny spot in this corner where the flood zone touches the property. Again, it is minimal, and it probably depends on which side you're looking at it from. But we want to make sure that because it's even close, that we're at least providing that information. So you'll see here, this is, you have on one side what was originally approved by Long Branch Farms back in 2003. So what Mr. Tillis owns is this, which is Lot 8, and then this, which is Lot 10. So Lot 8 is 10.01 acres. Lot 10 is 61.92 acres.
There's 40 acres to the south of that.
Right. So
Another 40.
what is being subdivided, or potentially subdivided, is 3 7.5 acre tracts, which would sit right about here. So there would be a little bit of Lot 10 left on this end. There would be some of Lot 10 left on here, and then there would be more than half of the parcel still left here. And so you can see on this one, you can kind of see where those parcel lines are. So you have kind of the whole block there. So all three of the proposed lots contain at least 7.5 acres, which meets current zoning, for a total of 22.5 acres of the 71.92 acres that's owned by the applicant. Our fire chief, Chief Nelson, he did have the same comments about road maintenance for this road. So when we first started working on this project, we were initially under the impression that, based on the information we had, that Seminole Lane was county maintained. Once working through the application, we have since found out Seminole Lane is not county maintained. It is a private road. So that does change the situation a little bit. So, show this here. So that's kind of a closer picture to show you where that is. The Lot 8 would be this piece, and then all of this would be 10, and then some down here too. So Carl Brown Road is up here. Seminole comes off of Carl Brown Road and would run along this side. So while going through the subdivision requirements, I spoke this afternoon kind of at length with our general counsel just to make sure that I interpreted the requirements properly, I would say, the same way that general counsel is interpreting them. So when this staff report was sent out, we were still looking at this as a county maintained road. Like I said, since then, we know now that it is a private road, and our subdivision requirements do state that each lot must have direct access to a county maintained paved road. So while at the time that this was sent out, we did recommend approval. We did think that it had direct access to a county maintained road. After some conversation with the fire chief, with Public Works confirming that actually, no, this is not county maintained. It was the recommendation of council this afternoon that I amend my approval and recommend denial, but make it clear that we're only recommending denial based on that road requirement, that all other aspects of the application have been met. Just speaking through that with him, that's kind of a couple different options for you guys. If you were to deny the application, Mr. Tillis would have the ability to request a variance from the commissioners to alleviate him from that paved road requirement. An alternative option would be to approve the application with the condition that the road be brought to the standard of the fire chief and Public Works. And it would be kind of like an application we talked about earlier. No building permits could be issued until those standards were met. So just talking through with him today, those were just some of the things he wanted me to mention so that you guys could kind of understand that there were moving parts and there were different options for you guys there. So at this point, we would recommend denial because of the unmet road requirement. The property owners are here if you have questions for them. This has kind of been an application with moving parts here in the last couple of days. So I'm sure they are probably still trying to process the information I've shared with them recently. But I'm sure they're happy to answer any questions that you might have or any concerns that you might have.
I'll turn it over to the board first, and then I've got some comments.
Well, LaDonna, I think my question would be to you, why recommend denial over conditional approval?
So in order for staff to recommend approval on a subdivision application, that is me stating that they meet all of the requirements.
Oh, understood.
And so initially, when we were treating this as a public road, that requirement was met. Now that we know that it is a private road, it is not met. So that's the change from approval to denial. We can't say that they meet every single aspect of that application because it's not a county maintained road.
Understood.
So we have applications that you see sometimes for subdivisions that are requesting an exemption, and sometimes a road requirement can be an exemption. This project does not meet the exemption process. Those are generally tracts that are 10 acres or larger. So that's generally where we see those.
Yep. Yeah, so conditional approval is not an option for you, but it could be for us.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other comments? Gabe, I'm sure you got some thoughts.
How did you know?
Dude, I am psychic.
The recommendation states that proposed subdivision is compatible with its surrounding and the proposed lot size meet or exceed current land use and zoning standards. I agree. Furthermore, the applicant has met all the preliminary development plan requirements for subdivision development.
And that is what's changed. One of those requirements is no longer met because this is a private road instead of a county maintained road.
Sure, but just in addition, subdivision development for preliminary and final development plan as submitted.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to our code and it talks about what's required to be on that development plan,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a plan that includes the things that the code requires.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a plan that I'm not receiving, that I don't have, that shows the things that the code requires for the
So,
development plan to include?
It's generally broken down in our application. If that's something that going forward you guys want me to put in the staff report as well, I can absolutely do that. One of the requirements is the type of potential development, and that's broken down into minor, major, phased, and depending on which you choose, that's where we then go to those requirements. I did print you guys copy of. Well, I thought I had printed you a copy of the whole thing.
While you're doing that, excuse me.
Do you have that application?
I do.
And if you just. So, if you want to just look through there, it breaks down everything. Essentially, that is a checklist for everything that, for all of the code requirements. So we go through that checklist, and we would, while going through the checklist, remove anything that would not be applicable to that development. So sometimes there are requirements that aren't applicable because it just doesn't have that. So, you know, just as an example, if a development has 25 lots or more, they have to have 2 entrances and exits for fire requirements. So something like that we would take off. It doesn't apply to this type of situation. So we go through each of those kind of line by line. And if you look at I think it's the second or third page, one of the very first questions is the type of development.
Yep.
So it says there, for a minor development, it's residential lots.
Yep. Less than 10.
Yes,
Yep.
less than 10.
Direct access to a county maintained road.
Yes. And so in this instance, initially we thought that Seminole was county maintained, and it is not.
But it's just there are preliminary development plan. There's a checklist of things that need to be on that preliminary development plan.
Yes.
It's
so,
how I'm reading this.
Yeah, so-
Nonetheless, we can I can come see you and we can go through it and
yeah.
all that after, not to take up everyone's
So
time.
I'll tell you, a lot of that information comes off of the survey that they give us or the preliminary plat. The great majority of the information on that checklist comes off of one of those.
Yep.
But I think, back to your point, we should include that with the packet, so
And
here
we
is an
can-
itemized
we
checklist.
can do that in the future. I can kind of put together that checklist for each application. Absolutely.
Just as I'm looking at things that I think based off the code should be required on a plan to be submitted, and I don't see that. So based off of
Right.
those findings, I
Right.
can't recommend approval because we haven't met the requirements that I believe that need to be there. So
Right.
that was the
Yeah, I understand that.
comment that I had as it relates to the preliminary and final development plan, and this is the buck stops here.
Right.
So that's all I've got.
Yeah, generally, like I said, we between the application and the supporting documents that are turned in with the application, that's how we work through that checklist. And in the future, we can definitely lay out that checklist and make sure we're showing you guys where that information's coming from, and to make sure that it's part of what they've submitted.
Second, so the first, this parcel was created off of the Long Branch Farms, was the parent parcel, so it got subdivided once.
Yes.
Would this be the second time this parcel was subdivided?
Yes, so that is why a subdivision application was required.
Okay, so it's not
Because
the
it
third
triggered.
time, it's the second?
It's the second time, but it's creating 3 lots. So
Okay.
each of those lots is considered,
Got it.
Even though it's not planned for development, the splitting.
So
of
he
it-
could get one right now without having to do anything?
no, because it is already an approved subdivision. To alter that in any way, you have to have.
Oh, he's already in a subdivision right
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yes, because what was approved in 2003
Okay,
was already a subdivision. It just was not platted. So if it would have been platted, we would be looking at a replat application instead of a new subdivision application. But because it was not platted previously, board still approved it, but they never went through the platting.
okay.
Yeah, finances may have changed or whatever. But my problem with this is what we've been talking about for years now, is what is our strategy or our plan for subdivisions and road maintenance? We've heard from the county commissioners that everything needs to be private roads. So now we've got a private road here that is servicing by ordinance, a subdivision.
So-
Let me get,
Oh, okay.
pardon me. But we're talking out of both sides of our mouth. We're saying that, okay, we want all subdivisions to be private roads, but then we come up on this. This is why I've been asking for workshops for a while to say, we're creating our own problems.
I think most of that private road talk is for interior roads, for roads inside of the subdivision. So
Depends on how far back we go. I mean, I've been on
Right.
this board for a minute. But if you go up and down 125, because of our ordinances, the way they're written, it's a racetrack through there, but we got curb cuts
Right.
for every single house.
Right.
If we were saying that we were gonna have private roads inside a deep flag lot subdivision like Hunter Ridge, that there's one way in and one way out.
Right.
That's a different thing.
Right.
Personally, I think, I understand the predicament that you're in from a legal perspective, that we can't approve this. But is there not a way that we can talk with Rich? Because the applicant said he's not planning to develop anything here. That there's an exemption to this, or
Yeah, so that was one of the conversations that we had, was there is potentially a variance process that the property owner could go through, and take in front of the board to waive that or amend that restriction.
So going back to the private road, but isn't this technically in a subdivision that's already been
Yes.
approved? So that would be a
Exactly.
private road in a subdivision.
And I did mention that, and in 2003, when that was
You guys know what
approved,
it is.
in 2003, when that was approved, the standards were different. And so that standard was put in since 2003, and because we're making changes now, we have to go by current standard, not 2003 standard, because that was one of my questions, is because we are altering a development that was approved previously, but unfortunately, the answer was no.
So if we gave him a conditional approval right now, Could he still get the variance from the county commissioners on this?
Yes, so you could still give you could give an approval, with the condition that the road must be squared away, prior to any building permits being issued. And with the subdivision process, even after this is finished, we still have a plating process to go through. And that is something that he could still be going through while he requested that.
But if the land is never to be developed, it should be
No.
split up
Well,
for future use or future sale.
Right, but if as soon as it's platted, if he sells one, that would be open for development at that
That
point.
would be the trigger, and then
So-
that's when the road should be.
Right, so road improvement would have to be done prior to any building permit being issued.
Correct.
So yes, if he went through a variance process, it would allow him to still move forward, but he isn't labeling this as it's, never gonna be developed, it's just, he's not the one developing it.
I thought there was something in the application that said that it was being, let me go back and look.
Yeah, so it does say that he is platting, it is, let me find it. 'Cause I think I-
Individual lots, once recorded, would then be available for individual purchase.
Yes.
Where do you see that?
So you're gonna require 3 individuals to come together to agree on improving the road?
Okay.
No. He,
Well, see, that's my problem, because now we're saying that he's got to develop the road because he's tripped a subdivision requirement.
Right.
But then we as county say, make that a private road that has to meet county standards. So we're passing the buck from the county. I don't want to say passing the buck, but the county is putting the onus, and I have no problem with the developer putting the infrastructure in place. But we're saying that any subdivisions that come in, if you split the land 3 times or more, then it has to meet subdivision requirements. And if it's subdivision requirements, we're saying the landowner or the developer should develop that road. I've lost my train of thought, but there was talk last year and year before last, and it was one of Jimmy's big things was, make these private roads. We just had the conversation about that place out there, out by Altman's store. The forest road that was out there. They
Yes.
were saying,
Yes.
oh, we're not gonna maintain a subdivision road.
right.
But now the county is telling him he's gotta maintain a road to the county standard when he splits this, even though it's a private road. Does that make sense?
It does. I understand. I do understand. The one, that other one was a little different situation because
Well,
it was
yeah,
owned
but
by the
I mean,
forest.
it's
So,
close.
but just like any other subdivision or any other development of any kind, our fire chief has expressed that he does not feel that, whether it's county or private, that it doesn't meet a certain standard. So even though he is not developing the lots themselves, prior to them being able to be developed, that standard has to be there, whatever that standard is, whether that ends up being a county road, whether that ends up being a private improved road. When I say there that the applicant intends to plat those and not develop them, that is developing the individual lots, not the access to the lots.
All right.
But I do understand.
I'm
Trust me.
Yeah, I know you do. We've had this conversation several times. Because we're just, it's self-inflicted injuries that we're creating here.
Yeah.
All the way around, because we're saying this, we're saying that. You know, so we're speaking this side, but then we're biting our own tail. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox and let you guys talk. This one just illustrates what I've been trying to avoid for a long time.
Public comment?
Any comments from the public? Reed, you wanna come up and talk?
Yes, please.
And make sure you fill out a speaker card for us, please.
Fill out what?
Speaker card, and, yeah, and you can just give it to Miss Julie.
Name and address, please, just so it's on record.
My name is Reed Tillis. I live at 10483 Flintlock Drive, which is down at the end of this property on Flintlock Drive. I want to start off by saying I've been working on this since January, and 36 years of UPS management. I knew this was going to be involved. I came in, I met with LaDonna. I said, what do I need to do? You know, how do I need to prepare for this? I've worked with Julie dozens of times. I've been in their office time after time after time, a dozen or more, and asking her, do you have everything you need? Do I have everything I need? Have we done, are we ready? Are we prepared? Are our I's dotted and our T's crossed? And we worked through everything that happened, and I'm losing my train of thought too, and I think it has to do with the age.
Thanks.
But the biggest thing that it seems to me is that it's a learning process that's still going on for you guys. I'm the whipping boy. I feel like I'm the whipping boy. I've jumped through every hoop. And let me tell you, these two ladies right here are your biggest asset. 100%.
Yep.
100%. I can't say enough good things about what they tried to do and the rules they're trying to operate under. Well, I'm here like a puppy dog. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. I'll go get this. I'll go get that. I'll meet with whoever I got to do. Here's where the irony of it is that it's a little bit of the old-fashioned good old boy Baker County stuff and the new laws and regulations that you got to go through, and it just happens to end up on Carl Brown Road at my property. But here's what I'm going to tell you. A lot of y'all are old enough to remember Mr. Fletcher with the road department, Jason Dial with the road department. There were a couple of other guys. It was so long ago that I've forgotten their names. But when the county needed dirt for Carl Brown and Pender Rollerson, because of the two storms and all that stuff, whatever, they needed dirt. And I met with Mr. Fletcher and I said, come out. I got there's a total of 112 acres that I've got there. And I told him, I said, you know, come get your dirt, dig a pond. They did a wonderful job. Do you have the picture of that? Do you have the picture that shows the actual satellite view? Where? Okay. Right here. There's two things here. They needed the dirt, so they came in here and they built up a road here. This is a 6-acre cypress plant. And they built up a road coming through here, all the way around here, all the way over here to dig this pond. there were 6 dump trucks all day long, going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and they built the road. They built this road through here, so for the guy to say he's, the fire emergency turnarounds, whatever, the Baker County Road Department built this road. And, you know, a fire truck will have no problem going through there, because it's the road department built the road. Well, now you're telling me that I've got to make another road. LD Bradley, they're learning this all too. They didn't know what it was, because I kept telling them, Rand and Harvey and LD Bradley, I said, I need an easement. I need an easement in here on this property, where the road department builds up the road to their standards, their track hose, their bulldozers, their dump trucks. I said, I've got to have an easement through here. He said, okay, well, it's 30 feet. It's a 30 feet easement. Okay, doing all the plans for 30-foot easement. Get in there, and he's going, oh, well, no, it's really not 30 feet, it's 50 feet. We got to have a 50-foot easement. Okay, there's a 50-foot easement all the way down here. So the road is not an issue. The road department built the road. And now y'all are going to turn around and tell me, in order for me to do anything with this land, I've got to build a road. Mr. Fletcher did build the road. Why am I having to do it again? I don't understand. I'd snatch out all my hair. I'd be bald as it could be if and it's gotten to. It has. I've been doing this for 3 months. And I get in here, and you guys are tasked with trying to keep Baker County going in the right direction, and look what you had to start with. But I feel like I'm the one that's experiencing it. She's done her best. You guys are trying to do your best. I'm trying to jump through whatever hoop you tell me. And I've jumped through every hoop you've come at me. 5 minutes before the meeting, she walks me back there in the back room and closes the door. And in the most professional way she can, Mr. Tillis, I'm sorry, I know we told you that it was going to be fine and everything's good and everything, but we need to talk. So
Sir, we had you come back to the mic.
I'm sorry.
We're recorded on the public, and
I'm sorry.
they can't pick you up way back there, brother.
It's just another hoop to jump through, just tell them. But that's what I wanted to say. If it comes down to the fire truck and the fire marshal, let him drive out there and look. Or ask Jason Dial to come back in here and stand before y'all and say, he built the road.
Well, he wouldn't have to stand before us. It's before the fire marshal, or Trevor, because he's the one that's... But I've got a question. What triggered the detailed research to find out that this was a private road? I mean, because the initial staff approval was the assumption it was a county-maintained road. Where was the trigger that said, okay, wait, hold on, this is a private road, now what do we do?
That was from conversations with the road department. That's when the road department shared. It is not on their public list.
Seminole Ridge subdivision has been blessed with a lot of good neighbors. Good men and a woman on tractors and backhoes and everything. And we keep our road, the Seminole Lane, we keep that up. We do that. We've done it for 24 years that I've been there. And so now I'm standing here, I want to do something with my land.
Right.
You are going to tell me tonight when I walk out that door, here, either yes you can, or here's another hoop that I have to jump through. Why couldn't I have done it and had everything ready so that y'all could just approve me? I mean, somebody needs to know this. Somebody needs to hear this. You guys are being tasked with something, and it's like you're trying to hit a moving target. almost. Everyone that comes before you gets you further down the road, you know? I don't know. Tell me where to go, tell me what to do.
Well, I'm gonna turn it back over to the board. And
Gabe?
You've done brought up another 400 questions from Gabe.
He said he is open to your questions, Gabe. He said bring them.
Are you ready for that?
No. He's got his act together, though, I can tell.
It's pretty sharp.
I don't know. I mean, the only how it happened, I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. I mean, we're all human, and there was only one man to walk the earth that didn't make a mistake. And so, I
Can we
think
learn
that
from it?
the county department
gonna learn from it.
is probably overworked and underpaid. And so, does it suck to get to the 11th hour and find this information out? Absolutely. I think that the county would have a bigger problem on their hands had it went through and then we found this out on the back end. There may be some legality issues there that we would have to jump through together. And I don't want to speak for the county because I'm not an extension of them or representative or the legal counsel. Just my opinion. But I look at how do we solve it. I mean, you're not changing density. You know, you're just tripping a threshold.
Yes.
And so. The county maintained road, not county paved. Number one, that's the first question.
So from my conversations this afternoon,
Okay.
that it is county maintained paved without the waiver. County and
She's still
I
on.
don't want to misspeak.
That's right.
I don't want to
Sure.
misspeak.
Sure.
Anything other than county maintained paved
Yep.
will require a waiver.
Yep. So
Or
he has to get
variance.
a variance. So he has to get a variance to put these lots, even if Seminole Lane was a county road,
Yes.
it's not a paved road. Neither is Pender Rollerson, neither is Carl Brown.
Correct.
Yes.
None of those are paved roads.
Yes.
So we still have would have an issue.
Right.
Because they're not county maintained paved roads.
That is-
He would either have to pave from 127 all the way back here, which isn't feasible, or he would have to get approval.
Some sort of. Yes,
Some sort of
variance or
agreement.
waiver,
That's right.
Whether that was done by the board, administratively.
That's correct.
Some way.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. You chew on that. I believe we have another question from the
Yes, ma'am.
public.
I was just gonna ask a question, so the way the property is set up, the 112 acres, and he's dividing it, and the roadway, and the county road of Carl Brown, if there was not a fence there, and the fire department could get through there from the county road, would that apply?
It would not, because it
Because it has to be
states
paved?
direct access.
It would be direct access,
If
I would
the
think.
new
Well, it
lots,
actually
the
is.
new
It
lots,
is.
the new lots that are being created will have to have direct access. So those lots would have to touch Carl Brown Road. And-
Okay.
And there's
So-
no way for those lots to do that.
So you have,
The
so you
easement.
have to replat it, or
I'm
what,
getting
I
it.
mean,
Just
Please don't
reminded
say
me.
that.
I mean, the easement, what, there's a fence there.
I mean, that was
That's
the whole
Carl
purpose
Brown.
of the 50-foot easement,
Right,
directly into Carl Brown.
right.
But the
Mhm.
easement is not direct access. It would be, the parcel literally
Ma'am,
has to.
can you
touch
fill
it.
out a speaker card for us, please?
Yeah, the parcel would literally have to touch it for it to be considered direct
But
access.
again, after 3 months, after 90 days, here I am. What do I do? I mean, just, again, I feel like I'm the whipping boy for Baker County.
This has happened more
Yeah,
than.
you're not the first.
Yes. This is why we as a board have been saying that we need to sit down and do an assessment, not just our comp plan, but do an assessment of where we at in the county. What is our inventory of assets? So we can figure out what is our go forward action plan for us as a community, for subdivisions that are gonna come in. You know, we've had
Sounds like
some
a good
people.
workshop.
Yes. Yes, sir. To answer your question, what are we going to do? Then we need to have some more discussion on this, honestly.
Yeah, I don't see a way how you make it happen without creating an easement inside of your property that connects to Carl Brown and build a road through it to connect to these 3 lots that meets the code. I mean, that's, and you would still have to get a exception for that to happen because Carl Brown is not paved.
Well, and is it paved or county maintained? Going back to that, because where I'm going is National Forest Road up there north, out by Altman Store.
That was an exemption to subdivision process.
Correct.
Oh, that's true.
So that's where we see.
That's right.
that's where we
Okay,
see
no,
those
yes,
numbers.
yes,
And the exemption was because it touched a county road already.
correct. Thank you,
Yeah.
getting old.
And then,
So-
and, you know, in the 3 months, I mean, unfortunately, we couldn't have a quorum last month, so this got kicked, you know.
This is.
We are a volunteer board. We're not paid or compensated in any way, shape, or form
Smiles.
from the county. So, unfortunately, you did have to wait 30 days on us. I apologize about that.
Thank you.
What's comments from the board? Can you lay out our 3 options again? One was a conditional approval. One was a waiver, or to
So-
deny.
So, yeah, outright denial, or denial or approval, either one, based on the road situation getting handled.
Then his
Or
next
you don't
steps are-
motion at all and you table it.
Well, that's kind of what I'm
That's
thinking.
that's another option, so,
And we don't want to put you through any more delays. We know what you're going through, but.
right, and that would be.
But I'd rather consider that and then get this all hashed out instead of, you know, a half step forward and then find out, here's another roadblock.
Unless you would like to move forward and try to get the variance with the county commissioners.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's anything else we're going to hash out with it. I mean, we know the problem.
It
So-
stops here. It doesn't go anywhere else.
No,
Yeah,
it-
so,
Well,
so
it's-
denial.
Conditional
denial-
approval will. I mean, provides them an
Yes.
opportunity. It gets them one step closer, provides them an opportunity to fix the issue we've
Yeah, so
identified.
denial, with the requirement of a variance from the board starts that process, but then he would have to come back to you guys
That's right.
after that process to get approval.
So that's another 2 months.
Approval with the condition that the road details are worked out.
Right.
Once those are worked out, he would not have to come back. Or there is the option, like you were saying, to defer it until next meeting. You can defer for 1 meeting as long as it is within a 6-week period. So if you were to defer to next meeting, and there was a road plan laid out at that point,
Right.
then you would have potentially an approval or denial without a condition on it.
But if we did a conditional approval with the road requirements, he could go in front of the county commissioner at the next meeting and try to get the variance there to move him
So
forward, correctly?
It would not be the next meeting because we would still have to advertise the variance, but we could get him on the next
That would be the first
I'm just trying not to
Yes,
drag
yes.
this
No,
out,
no, no,
whatever
I
is as
understand.
short as
Right, that
possible
would be
for
the
him.
first meeting in
Right.
April.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the variance still has to be advertised, but we could, the closest meeting with that advertisement would,
April 7th.
April 7th, we would have time to, yeah, so that would put him on the April 7th meeting with the commissioners.
What's your appetite for building a
Yeah.
road? I mean, I'll just cut straight to the chase. I mean,
What's my appetite for building a road?
correct,
Where?
on your property that runs down to these 3 lots.
Okay. Can I present the road that Robert Fletcher built with Baker County equipment out there? Because he built the road.
I get that. I get it. I don't know that that access point would not meet the code that says it has to touch or come into a county maintained roadway. So that he did it, and it's good he did it, but it stinks that it doesn't work for you because that wasn't built. That's not a county right of way. And so your lots have to go touch a county right of way, and that access has to be built there. So the only way for those lots to touch a county right of way is to build another road beside the road.
When you say, you keep saying road, is it paved road or a dirt road? Because
So-
they're all dirt roads out there.
Right,
It
so
could be
it-
a roadway that supports a certain weight determined by the fire marshal. So the previous approvals have been asphalt millings, previous approvals have been slag, previous approvals have been lime rock.
Lime Rock.
At-
So-
At the end of the day, it has to be tested and proved to withstand the weight of emergency vehicles. So that can be.
Proctor densities, LBRs, I mean,
Yeah,
it-
I can't
there-
hear you.
you would have to hire a testing company to do Proctors, LBRs, come out and test them. But, I mean, what would
So-
be the difference of him building a road next to that one when he already has a road there?
Right.
The
It's
difference
still-
is property ownership.
Because he doesn't own the private road.
But
Now,
you also
you go
said
by
that they
the-
went,
by-
And when
I'll
you
go
say
buy
that
it
private
from-
road, there's no difference between the two. It's a fence. The fence, my property, the private road that the
Correct.
county
Right.
doesn't maintain, but it's
Yeah.
a road. It's a private
right.
road.
but he also said he had a 6-acre cypress head right there in that corner too, where they came around with that road, didn't you?
They built, they
Around
built
it.
it.
Yeah,
They
so
built
if he
it up.
moved over, he'd be going through the cypress head.
Right.
Not, and I mean, there's enough uplands there
You could
to,
drive fire trucks up and down there all day long,
yeah,
because they did it
he's,
for a month.
he's got 50, 60 feet to
Yeah.
work with before you get to the swamp.
My thought is that we defer this and the fire department and the road department and Reed get together and say, how do we make this happen? You know, there's no sense in them putting out money to put in another road or us giving a conditional approval and getting before the county commissioners. And Rich is gonna say, well, the ordinance says this, and yes, county commissioners can do what they will as they've done. You know, that's what we elect them for. But then if he gets up there, then he's kicked back and he's got one last time for a, what do you want to call it? Not a waiver,
Variance.
variance, thank you. And then he's stuck. So I'm thinking that this gets tabled, deferred to next meeting. And if you need, any of us on this board to come in and sit down with it, but your county commissioner, the road department and the fire department, and all sit down, maybe have a meeting out there at your place and say, let's walk down through this and let's show you what we've got and what are you guys looking for? Because otherwise we're just discussing lines on a piece of paper. And I don't say that lightly, because to put in a paved road or something like that is costly, very costly. And all you're trying to do is just subdivide this into 3 separate lots that you can future sell. But because you've tripped that subdivision requirement of now the land's split 3 times, our ordinance says, and this is something that hopefully is being addressed in the comp plan stuff that you're doing with the legislative group, but this is something that we've kicked the can down the road several times. You're not the first one to have it. I doubt you're gonna be the last one, but I just don't feel in my good conscience recommending a conditional approval, and then it gets up there to the will of the county commissioners, and then they deny it, you know, because it's a 50-50 split there. You know, do they deny it, and then you've got one last chance for appeal, and then you're stuck? Or do you sit down and have a conversation and say, how do we work this out for all of us, so everybody wins, or at least stop the bleeding?
So does he have to go to the commissioners for the variance, or can he try to get a variance and go back through us again?
I think the only time they'd hear that is during their normal meeting.
Right.
I don't think they've got any offline things.
They don't, but we can be prepared for, we can ask that specific question to the general counsel, and if it's feasible for, what is our April LPA meeting?
April the 9th.
So that week, commission falls on Tuesday, LPA falls on Thursday.
Right.
So we could advertise, meet with general counsel, make sure that follows parameters, get him on that agenda for April 7th for a possible variance, and then see you guys on April the 9th, and then you would have that, maybe one way or the other. At least let's have some conversation with Rich, and we could at least have some direction by then.
Well, Rich is gonna tell you the ordinance aspect of it, but the actual boots hitting the ground is gonna be fire
Right, and we can
okay.
have those conversations.
Oh, I thought you
prior-
were just talking
No, no,
about
no.
the
No, have those
the
conversations
discussion with
prior-
council.
No, have the conversations that need to happen prior to that April 7th commission meeting, so that if we are requesting a variance, all of those ducks are in a row. and
Yes.
it's prior to
Okay,
that,
we're on the
is
same
what I
page.
mean.
All right.
Yes.
Reed, your thoughts?
Where's the who?
Well, that's why I'm saying I think there needs to be a conversation to flush out what the next hoop is. Figure it out versus take a half step forward to only find out there's another roadblock. Or there's a denial and then you've only got one appeal left.
So let me ask a question. So say he paid an engineering firm, confirmed the road meets the 80,000 pounds. Still the ordinance is going to be the hurdle for the paved road, right?
That is where the variance from the commission comes
Right.
in.
Yeah,
In the past, they have accepted
right.
those
Improve.
engineering
Mhm.
reports too. Back when Rayonier developed off of Steel Bridge where Stokes Road was, it was not the other property owners in that area did not want their road to be improved. So they looked at some ulterior methods then, and the road was tested and proved that it met the standard needed.
And can we use this as a springboard to having a conversation about roads? I know I keep asking you and you keep trying, and I'm just gonna ask again. Reed, thoughts?
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
Well, do you want, you've got two options. We can deny it tonight, and then you have to come back and do the road as requested by the fire department, Trevor Nelson, and the road department, build that. We can deny it with a condition that we would deny it with the condition that once the subdivision is approved, once the first parcel is sold, then you have to build the road regardless to whatever the county standards are.
Or we could table it and let you try to
And
get
we
some more
can defer it
information.
until next month. What, another 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
4 weeks.
Defer it and let you guys have that conversation and just get all the heads talking the same language, and then go before the county commissioners, and then the county commissioners say, yes, this is acceptable, comes to us and we endorse it. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Just trying to keep all the noodles straight. My recommendation, just from me to you, is to take the deferral. I know it's 90 days that you've been going through this, but I think that will get you closer to final resolution versus a half step forward only to find another barrier.
And it's exactly 4 weeks from today, is the 7th, so.
Which is when we would have
So do
commission
I
meeting.
need to get Jason and Trevor together to come out to my property? And
I would ask
I'll do
LaDonna
that.
to do that
Not
for you.
necessarily come to your property, but we need to have a conversation and see what the best path forward is gonna be.
And the thing is Trevor can look over there at Jason because Jason was there every day. And, I mean, it can be done over a table. I think.
That's what I'm saying. We've got these silos that we're all operating in.
Gotcha.
And I've got blinders on, so I can't see him and I can't see him. I just see what's in front of me. So everybody is doing their piece that's in front of them versus let's all sit around the table, have a cup of coffee and figure this out.
The challenge is the rule, and the rule says it has to connect to a county right-of-way, period.
Yes.
Right.
No matter if, it doesn't matter if you have a highway. If that highway is not a county-maintained right-of-way, it doesn't matter. We can sit around, drink coffee, sing Kumbaya, everybody can say, yep, that road, you can run a crane down it. The rule says it has to connect to a county right-of-way,
All three proposed lots.
Period.
Have to connect to that.
and that's it. So, I think the solution is finding out how to connect those roads to a county-maintained right-of-way. That's ultimately just,
And whatever that county maintained, or whatever that road is that connects it to the county maintained right of way,
yep,
has to be able to support.
it's gotta be approved.
emergency vehicles.
If it's not gonna be paved, it's gotta be approved, that's right.
Whether that's Seminole or whether that's.
And I think that's the tough pill to swallow, that's just the hard truth.
Okay.
So in those conversations, that's when we would look at your options. What would it take to get Seminole where it would need versus the easement that we're talking about?
And it'd give you more ammunition when you go for a variance. I've already
Right.
spoke with Trevor, the road department, and just something to help you along. We're not trying to hold you back.
I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
perceive that in any way, shape, or form.
These two ladies.
I think you are trying your
Yeah.
best
We don't-
to work under the situation
Yeah.
and understand the rules and make it work.
We learned just like you about what you learned tonight. I mean, we don't see this stuff up front.
I do appreciate it.
And we're all at a
Thanks, guys.
disadvantage. They put out, they update statutes each year, and every year we get minor changes that we just,
Right.
we're stuck with, so
Okay,
it's growing.
so we're gonna defer this to.
Well, that's my recommendation, but it's up to the board. I'm just the chairman to keep the meeting moving.
Y'all think that's the best route?
I do, for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't be in support of anything other than a tabled
Yeah.
vote,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. I'm not gonna approve something with conditions, and I'm not gonna deny you, so I think that I'm in favor of it. I'll make a
Okay, so
motion-
okay.
Motion to
Bring it
table
back to the
discussion
board.
until the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to defer this to the next LPA meeting with the conditions that there will be a discussion with the applicant, fire department, the road department, county commissioner, and whoever else, LPA, Madam Director, to try and come up with a solution for this so it can be brought before the county commissioners in the April meeting, and then to us on April 9th for our final endorsement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all have a great night.
You guys do
We
the
will try.
same. Good to see you guys.
Thank you. Good seeing you.
Hey, I gotta,
I'll reach out to you sometime tomorrow. We're not going.
We still got dinner.
We're taking a
let's take
5-minute
a break
recess.
for 5 minutes,
Okay.
okay? I gotta run out and make a phone call.
Yeah, we still got, I was gonna say,
Session after lengthy discussions. I like the discussions. I'm glad to hear that we're having several of these. And thank you, because I'm sure that was not a pleasant conversation to have. To find it out at the last minute, on the night of the meeting. But thanks for all you do. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, yes, of course.
And thank you guys to the board here. Gabe, as always, appreciate the insight. Sometimes whatever. But
Wow. Wow.
That's how I feel.
Tell me how you really feel, Greg.
Love to
I'm telling you.
How about me when he said Gabe and,
Yeah.
what's his,
yeah, exactly.
Man,
Man,
I didn't even get a name.
just went blank. I was
It
like,
does not matter where I am, wherever I'm at. If I hear spot zoning, I'm like,
yeah, it's
where,
Gabe.
So we need to put a
where's
piece of
Gabe?
text,
Why is he
Gabe,
following me?
or
Yeah, yeah.
Greg, Gabe,
Yeah.
with an arrow.
Exactly.
I thought we about eked by that spot zoning comment too. We were almost there.
Yeah. And so and you'll see with one application, if I could get ahead of it, I'm gonna try to get ahead of it.
You tried.
But we can't always, it's a legitimate question. It is, absolutely.
All right, next item on the agenda.
The next thing I have is your election of chair and vice chair for this year. So we should have done this a couple months back, but that's okay. We're gonna do it now, if that's okay with you guys.
Where we're at.
So I will let you guys toss around any
Do we have our
ideas.
dates?
I do have your dates. I
I know you
did
do. That's
not.
probably not-
I did
yeah.
not bring
Not
them
with
with me.
us.
I do know that.
What, you don't memorize that stuff, Julie? What is wrong with you?
I do know that you two both are up for
Is it May?
no February. It's actually February. So you two are both up for
Renewal,
reappointment.
Yes.
For reappointment. So that's probably going to be on one of the next couple of commission agendas. So, because of course they have to do that reappointment. You two were February, and then I want to say Blake. I want to say you're October.
Me and Jack came same time, so.
So, well, you were, but Jack was an alternate.
Oh, yeah.
And then got appointed. So your date.
I
is a
was an
little
alternate
off.
too and got appointed.
Right, but
Right.
you got appointed
Before Jack?
Before Jack did.
A month or so before.
Yes,
I think
yes,
I was
so-
November maybe. Or
Yeah.
something.
Maybe so. But it goes by that change from alternate
Right.
to actual voting member. We go by that date. So.
And I can email y'all and let y'all know what.
Yes. But we were just looking at those because I knew it was time for some of them.
I need that tonight, actually, if you go back.
And then, well, I'll get to that one.
So
I
we're
was looking
advertising
for
for
this,
the alternate that we hadn't had in a while?
Yes, so,
Good.
um,
And we have no applicants in the
So,
queue yet from
we
previous?
have-
Should be.
we have received one application.
Wow.
But that's it. So we've still got it open to kind of see if we get any more. And ideally, in the very near future, we'll get some more, but
So we need to beat the streets and get some more people.
yes. So we're trying to.
I was hoping that at your community fair, you might have got some applications there.
Right, and I actually talked to two different people in depth about applications. One of them Thursdays was a conflict with their work schedule, and the other one talked as if they might be pretty interested. So
I thought I had those dates. in my email.
hopefully we'll get something soon, and maybe can make some decisions, get them on the commissioner's agenda for
Okay.
appointment.
All right, so I'll open it up. Nominations for chairman?
Gabe,
Okay.
Nick? Nomination?
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Nominations for.
Gabe, do you have to consent?
Yeah.
You look as if you're
He looks unsure.
He's been bunking for this for a while.
I'm not sure if we require consent in this.
Y'all are ready for a 3-hour meeting.
Does Gabe consent? Yes?
Yes.
You're outvoted,
All in
Gabe.
favor of Gabe consenting?
You're outvoted, buddy.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Y'all better watch out.
Well, see, that way Greg doesn't talk over you when you have questions. You can continue on.
Oh, no, because now I get to, because
why you
see,
showed
here
up
all I
early.
can do
Hey,
is facilitate the
You're not
meeting.
going far.
All I can do here is facilitate the meeting. But once I sit in the other chair, then I can throw rocks. No, I'm not going to throw rocks. All right, nominations for vice chair?
Greg,
Dude, really?
y'all two know more than, any three of us.
I would like to say Nate. If you, no?
No, they don't want it.
Okay.
No desire to be vice chair.
No, not really.
I don't want it.
So,
I mean, Greg, if you're saying you don't want it,
no, I'll
I don't
do
want it, but I
My
will.
point is, I was chairman 2 sessions ago, and then last time nobody wanted, so I said, okay, I'll do it again. So I'm back-to-back chairman, and I'm saying we need to get some new blood.
I think Gabe wasn't here for the last time we did it. We nominated you and Gabe.
Okay.
Jack, I nominate Jack for vice chair.
All right, all in favor of Jack, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Greg, say aye.
Aye. Oh, sorry.
All right, Jack, you're it.
Disregard the last guy.
All right.
All right, so we've got Gabe as our new vice chair. Congratulations. New chairman. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Jack, welcome as the vice chair.
Thanks.
And Gabe, I'll be here to help you, whatever you need.
Just 5 minutes late, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. Don't even go there.
Hey, Gabe beat me here today. So
I
walked in looking at my watch.
When
Thinking
I walked in and seen Gabe
thought I was
sitting
late
in
when I
here, I was like floored. I was like, okay.
This
And
time
now you're
change
gonna
maybe
get on me
has
for
him
5
in
minutes.
maybe he's in a better spot with this time change.
Yeah.
Good.
Some-
There's something to be said
some
for that.
people-
Y'all are just gonna make me talk more.
Listen, hey, I'm here. I appreciate that, Greg. Thank you so much.
No, you.
Thank you for all of your years of service here on the LPA board.
Now you make me sound like I'm dying.
And being chairman as many years as you have, I know that's been extremely strenuous on you, and we can tell. And so we are just so proud
I'm looking forward
for
to.
you to be able to step down a little bit and enjoy the babies.
There you go. And, get some young blood in there.
That's right.
Set a
There you
direction. Let's
go.
go forward.
A little bit of fire.
Yes.
So this time next year, the gray that's in your beard will be in both of their.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll know what
Indeed.
it feels like, huh?
All right. Staff comments?
So,
I
yes.
didn't get a chance to.
Yes.
Earlier.
It'd be nice
Little
to
bit
get some
going on.
workshops and training.
I got your back.
I can send you some.
I'm gonna keep carrying the torch. I
Make it
promise.
So,
That's what you got.
my first comment was going to be our applications that are out, but we already covered that. So yesterday we also had the public engagement charrette. Honestly, I was a little nervous to see what our turnout looked like. Just in the past, when we've had things like that, we did not always have, a good turnout or
participation,
good. Yeah. So we had a pretty good, especially the first probably hour and a half. We had a pretty steady flow. I do not know how many spots they had in their sign-in sheet, but we filled up the first page of a sign-in sheet. So I think we only had like 1 or 2 names on the second sheet, but we filled up the first sheet.
Good.
So
that means people are paying attention.
Yes. And the people who showed up they did the activities, so there were 3 different stations with different types of activities to kind of pull out questions and concerns. It was very interactive. Everybody participated. We got some really good feedback. They also had surveys that they were having everybody fill out. So they had a paper version of the survey, and they also had a QR for the survey. So before you guys leave, I will give you these so that you all can take the survey and that you can also share the information to get other people to do the survey as well. So they're going to leave the survey open, and then at the end of this week, we're going to kind of look at the feedback and see how many surveys we've done, what the direction is there. Most likely, we're going to leave it open while we're going through the amendment process. That way, we can see how our concerns changing. Do we have the same concerns? When you do this, sometimes you'll be doing, advertising something for 6 months, and you always have somebody say, well, I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Well, it's still open. You can still participate and share your thoughts. So I'll give you guys, a paper copy, a QR, whatever you guys prefer before you leave to be able to share and spread out.
Can we get an electronic copy too that we can pass along to folks?
I'm pretty sure we can do that. I can make us one with this.
Okay.
Yes. One of the activities was a map of Baker County, and there were color-coded stickers, and there were 4 different colors, and each sticker represented something different. So one color was,
I think the green was that you love.
so it was an area of the county that you love, an area of the county that you feel needs some sort of improvement, whether it be road or infrastructure or whatever. Another color was where you would like to see growth in the county, where you would like to see that happen. And off the top of my head, I don't remember what the 4th color was. But that was one of the kind of more popular.
Like needed more change than there was 2.
Yeah, 2 of them were regarding change. One was kind of specific to infrastructure and roads, and then the other was something else. Maybe. But that was the activity that seemed to have the most amount of feedback. So what we did, we brought that back with us, and we're going to have it in the office. So we've scanned it, made a copy of what it looked like after public engagement that first go round. Now we're going to continue to add to that when people come in asking questions about the survey, about different things. Well, this is an activity we have in the office that you can do, and at different intervals, whether it's monthly or whatever, we'll update that, give that information to North Florida Professional Services, so we kind of have an ongoing track of that.
Okay.
So,
Y'all should stop by and see it. It's pretty interesting.
yeah, it was kind of an interesting way to do things, and I was really shocked with a couple of the sticker placements, honestly. It kind of just proves that we're not always thinking, and our grand outlook of things may be different from somebody who isn't in this all the time. So it was put together very well. So
Good.
they did a very good job. And like I said, probably the first hour and a half was pretty steady.
And then we're
with
gonna use
people.
that to incorporate into the comp plan?
Yes,
Or
so,
a growth plan?
so
Or-
what that's gonna do, all of the information taken from last night, we're putting it all together, and most likely the second commission meeting in April, we will send that to you guys as well, and probably ask you to attend that meeting. And that all of that information will be presented to you all and to the commissioners. We'll probably do what we're talking about is probably doing like a workshop prior to the commission meeting. So their meeting starts at 5, us try to come in at 4 and present that information to you guys and to them. And of course, if you can't be there, we'd ask you to listen in, and then you could share your feedback with us. So we're looking at the second meeting in April for that to happen, for you guys to get all the initial feedback. Of course, it's going to be ongoing, but we want you guys to know what the public opinion was, what they wanted to see from that initial workshop.
And on that public opinion survey, you said you'd put it out electronically. Maybe you could put that on your
We are.
Facebook
We are.
page or in the press?
Yep. We plan on
Not
putting
the
it out
final
there.
results, but I'm
Right, no,
saying the survey.
for them to be able to, the QR code for the survey, it's gonna be pushed out. So that's all I have. Just
So
get it
where is North Florida Professionals? Where are they with all the legislative updates and everything else? Because we budgeted for 2 ways, spent the money last year
Yes.
for the first phase. We're now 3 months into
Yes, so
the new
they,
year.
they
When do
have.
we get to see it?
Right, so that first phase that was done last year, that was the data and analysis portion. And the legislative changes have pretty much, they've got those outlined. And that will, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're going to show some of those changes.
But I thought we had to submit this by April,
So we have,
because we haven't even had any input on anything yet.
Yes.
We've got a whole list of items.
I can tell you it's not going to be submitted in April.
Okay.
You guys will be looking at it before it is submitted. So,
I just didn't want to see what happened like last time.
right.
You know, we
right.
started working on it and then, oh, sorry, we got to transmit it, and off it went.
So, because of recent legislative changes, we are very limited in what we can change.
Understood.
And in all reality, you're probably looking at us doing 2 different amendments. That first amendment will cover all of the statutory changes. That way our amendment is approved and we can continue to conduct business. And then, once the legislation ideally adds a little more detail to what's been put out or appeals what's been put out, then we will be able to make some more changes. We're very limited. The changes that we make to our comprehensive plan cannot be any more restrictive than what our plan currently is. That's what came down the pipeline last summer.
Well, there's that, and then, you know, the whole thing that the state legislature is talking about now, you know, with these blue ribbon projects and everything else.
Yes.
In one regard, so if you guys don't know, so blue ribbon legislation that's being talked about is these 10,000 acre or more master projects that are being planned out, being discussed in Tallahassee. And they're saying, well, if it's a master plan, then Tallahassee will approve it, and it has the potential to bypass.
Circumvent county government.
Yes, county government. So now.
And look at all that acreage we have in Baker County.
Exactly. And the challenge will be, okay, it's cool that we've got somebody that's going to help us design a master community, but then who covers the cost of the infrastructure and emergency services? Does that all get pushed down
Right.
to us? You know, how does this whole thing work out? And I'm really not a fan of losing home control.
I think there's a lot of questions with that still haven't been answered. Like you said, who's responsible for that infrastructure?
And so maybe in our
and
comp plan, we
things like
put in
that.
some
So,
language around that.
Yeah. But in all reality, it probably does look like two separate amendments.
Okay.
The first one with just those legislative changes, and then kind of see how things progress. Because what we don't want is for us to submit our amendment package and it get denied because we have added in something that's more restrictive. Because then that's gonna.
That makes
that's-
sense. I mean,
that's gonna
submit
be-
the legislative.
Right.
Boom. Now we can make an amendment to that.
Absolutely.
And then have the public workshops and the board work on all of this, and the county commissioners, and maybe we're all aligned, and
Right.
here's what we want in our comp plan.
Right, right.
And then
Because while
roll
we.
that out every time an applicant comes in.
Right,
Does this comply with our comp plan? Yes, move ahead.
Right.
No, then let's modify it. If not, then deny it.
right. Because while we are required to submit based on that schedule that they put out, there is nothing saying that we cannot have multiple amendments. So
Okay.
that's kind of what we're looking at.
How was county days? That was back in February. over in
Oh,
Tallahassee.
yeah. Oh, I guess we have not met since then. It was very good. We had a good turnout, and it did not rain on us this year. So we were very thankful
Very nice.
that it did not rain on us. So it's always really interesting to see where we are compared to other counties. What are they bringing? What are they doing? What are they known for, and how are they marketing themselves? So it's always kind of nice to see that. And they send all different sorts of people to represent their county. So you never know if you're meeting other community development directors, or if you're meeting commissioners, or we took our Tony, our veteran service officer, with us. He went with us this year, and I had never seen any other veteran service officers there, and he found two. So it's always interesting, but we enjoyed it.
You guys got any other comments, questions? You have anything else?
I do not. I'll just, like I said, I'll give you these surveys before you guys leave.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Gabe, next one's on you, bud.